Welcome to the Crafty Mini. So in this one I just wanted to look back at some of my previous paint jobs that I've really enjoyed doing. I think ones that not necessarily the best, but the ones that I've learned a lot from, and just have a quick look at them and discuss them and show you also what's coming up in the future as well. So the first one I picked was the this turtle pirate miniature, where I did the showing where you put your highlights. It's something that I've taken for granted, but I've really enjoyed doing this video, and it still sits on my desk and I refer back to it as well when I get stuck. Really enjoyed this one, and it was a fun little video, just mapping out where you put the highlights on the miniature and how different shapes and textures can affect it. Overall, really chuffed with this one, and as I say, it's always there now on my desk next to my Sally sculpture, and I always refer back to it. Good bit of fun, and enjoyed this one a lot. Now, it goes without saying, not the best paint job I've done. Very simple. It was just greys, building up to lighter greys and eventually whites and nothing else. But as I say, the amount of things I learned just working through that process, it's one I'd strongly recommend for painters. Right, next up is, I'm a big fan of the Trench Crusade setting. I've backed just the rulebook, nothing else. So please caveat this with that, because obviously I am biased, but I love the grimdark style. Anyone who's watched the channel for a while will know that. And this one was just it was a miniature I found on Etsy, decided just to buy it, and I just had a bit of fun painting it up, trying a few different things, and it was nice. At the time I was doing a lot of the moonstone, and this was a nice little change of pace, and it's good to change things up every so often. But overall, really happy with this. It was more for the basing and getting the grime sort of level right without going too grimdark as well, because sometimes you can go a bit too gory and a bit too oppressive in the sort of style of the painting. This one overall I was really happy with, and I think it's going to fit nice with my little Antioch / Trench Pilgrim warband that I'm working on. So this was one I painted for myself. It was a miniature I'd had for a while. It wasn't even a video on the channel. I think I did a short on it. Really like this one. It was. I do like mind flayers, anything that sort of Lovecraftian, cosmic horror leaning, and it was just nice to have something with very little detail on it as well. No like belts and accoutrements and pouches and things, and just concentrating on the flesh tone and building up those layers of purple, and then a nice simple brown for the contrast for the pants. Really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun just blending, and also because I've been using Procryl exclusively for a long time, going back to Vallejo and relearning sort of how to mix them and things. Not bad for a little 28mm scale, and it's the colour as well of it. I think it really pops, and it's why it's one of my favourites. So this was the Android from Space Crusade. So this was gifted from a good friend of the channel, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer. So go check him out. Welsh, I will send this back to you as well, because I've painted two of them up like this now. So one of them is coming back to you. I've just got to get it to the post office. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. It's an old 90s. It was a big nostalgia hit for me. This was the game that I played a lot as a kid. And these monsters in the game, in the Space Crusade, were just terrifying to meet, and it was a lot of fun just painting him up, trying to keep it as close to the board game art as I could, and just working on through that and keeping it very simple and having that blue sort of undertone for the white armour, and then adding a few little greeblies for the base just to make it punch a little bit more and turn it into this sort of mini display piece. Really fun. I do recommend, if you can get your hands on a full copy of Space Crusade, go and get it, because it's worth playing as well. So Hellboy it's one of my favourite comics. It's the Guillermo del Toro films are some of my favourites. And anytime I can get a chance to paint a Hellboy, I do enjoy. This bust was from Etsy. It was an absolute joy to paint. Tons of detail, but not over the top with stuff. Like the texture on the coat, it was purely plain, so you can go and make that yourself, and I did that with a load of dry brushing and things. The contrast with the red and brown's really nice, and just a fun model to paint, and just an absolute joy. He stands out. He's an opposing figure. If you haven't read the comics, do recommend it, and if you haven't watched the the two Guillermo del Toro films, they're a must. If you like monsters, that man knows how to do it, and it's a lot of fun. As I say, any chance I get to do Hellboy, I'll always take it. And this bust is one of a few display pieces that I have around my house now. So I had this miniature sitting around for a while, and I wasn't sure about the paint scheme, and this was a little video I did about inspiration you can find from other channels. Now with this, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer and me, we'd done a range as a Shadow Deep sort of exchange, and the miniatures he sent me did this colour scheme, and I just love the way it tied all the units, the miniatures together as if they were one cohesive unit, maybe from the same town or whatever it might be. And I just decided to upscale it and put it onto this miniature because I was struggling to figure out how I was going to paint it, and it turned out really nice. I don't do many bust fantasy or large scale fantasy. I tend to do more monsters or sci-fi, so this again, it was a nice change of pace to do. Really enjoyed it, and it's quite alright in the end. There's a lot of things I learnt from this, and especially the blending of the browns and things, and don't necessarily do individual brown colours but make your own, but yeah, a lot of fun. So this is from a quite recent video. This was a competition that I'd entered. I came fourth in the end, which I was really happy with because I didn't think it was that good, to be honest. The base in particular I wasn't happy with, but yeah, it was an interesting piece. I'd not done competition painting for a long time, and I just thought I'd throw my hat in the ring, and the miniature itself was something I'd enjoyed doing. It was very simple. Skeletons are really easy to paint, and I just got the flash of red and the bronze just to mix everything up. As I say, it was a fun experience. It was something different. The big thing I took away from it is, if you're going to go competition piece, you need to do a lot more to the base. This was very simple. It was just a bit of cork and then some milli-put around to have it just out, because the plinth that I got wasn't big enough for the skeleton stance. But yeah, it was a fun little project, and opened me up to my current project that I'm working on. So this was my first sort of meander into proper OSL. Good bit of fun this was, using the tips from Resourceful Miniatures, so please go and check out his channel. He's got some excellent tutorials on there. Overall, I'm very happy with it. I think I'd expand the reflection of the green light a bit further if I were to do it again, but when you, from that angle in particular as it is now, it hits, you know exactly what it is. You've got these sort of magical acorns that are emanating this green light and sort of cascading down on the miniature. I really enjoyed it. It's something I'm definitely going to do more in the future. I'm actually now in the process of, when I go looking for the 3D prints that I want to paint for the channel, I'm now looking for things that have a light source on them so I can use this more in depth. I think what I might do is the next one is do a normal paint job but then have the light cascading over, rather than this sort of simple shadowy blue on the undertones. So this was a video that came out, I believe, last week of time of recording, and this was my mermaid bust, where I just decided to wing it and have a bit of fun. It was a really nice palette cleanser because I've done exclusively grimdark for a couple of weeks, but the competition piece, the Nurgle Demon, I'd spent about 2 weeks painting on, and it was a slog. Enjoyable, but a slog, because you're just constantly hitting that same sort of tone in how you're painting, and this was a really nice change of pace. Something a bit more whimsical, a bit fanciful, and I didn't really worry too much about how I was going to paint this. For those who've seen the video, I just went for it and just see how it came out, and overall I'm really happy with this. Yeah, it could use some more detail work on the horns and the hair and things, but I wanted the face and the skin tone to be the thing that stands out. So this little Orc bust was done a while ago. I stripped it and repainted it to how it is here in the video. This was a gift for a friend of mine for his birthday. He's a massive Orc fan, so it was a no-brainer. Repainting it was actually a lot of fun. I went more extreme with the highlights on the skin, because the initial paint job was very dull in comparison. And again, it's a nice little thing that I've learned there, to push the contrast a bit more. Worst case scenario, you just dull it back down again, but keep pushing those highlights and as far as you want to go, and then maybe push a little bit more, and you'd be surprised what you can come out with. The skin tone on this in particular, this is my favourite way of doing orc skin, which is greens with yellows for highlights. I just think it looks a lot more fun, a lot more vibrant and sort of saturated. But yeah, a good little paint job, and it's always nice to gift these out to people. So this was my foray into going back and painting old sort of late 80s, early 90s miniatures. So this is the elf from Hero Quest. So this was suggested by Craft Crusades, another YouTuber. Please go and check them out. And with this, same as I did with the Android, I wanted to keep it to the box art as close as possible. And that's what we did there. And to be fair, it's come out alright. It's very desaturated in terms of like the colour overall, which I don't mind. I prefer that sort of style anyway. But yeah, it's come out really nice, and again, this is a massive nostalgia hit. So Space Crusade and Hero Quest for me is my childhood. Every weekend playing this with family, and this was my character. This was the first miniature I ever painted. So this one there's not a video for. Occasionally I do paint stuff just for me, and this was a cool little mad jester type character. He's sort of he's obviously clearly part demon because he's got this weird tail and a horn coming out of his head, and this big cascade of skulls that he's carrying around with this menacing grin. Loads of fun painting this. Sometimes I'll just pick out one of these little minis and it'll just be for me, so I can just sit back, I'll get a podcast on and off I go. Really enjoyed that mini, and it was a lot of fun. And you can see here the detail on it, and this sometimes you just need to go and paint something different, and this was very, very simple. It's only two colours. You've got the red for the armour, and then that sort of off-white creamy colour. A little bit of gore on the skulls, nothing too much, keeping it quite safe, and then just a simple dry brush for the base, for the cobblestones. That was it. Nice and easy, but as I say, it bags a character, so if you can find a good miniature like this, do grab it. And for those who've watched the video, this was the second competition that I hit. Results are back and I came second. I'm extremely happy with that. I had loads of fun painting this. As I say, it was a slog. It was a good 2 weeks solid work, but I put loads into this. I've done a video explaining the skin tone because that was the main sort of focus, because I wanted that to stand out. And I love the sculpt on this thing. It's disgusting, it's gnarly, it's proper grimdark. It's how I think the Warhammer, based on the lore and things, and same with 40k, it's how it should be. But loads of fun. Now what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you some stuff that I've picked up and what we might be seeing in future videos. So I want to do another Mushroom Man, because I haven't done one for a while, and considering the sort of theme of the channel and the little mascot. So I found this on Etsy. I'll do proper shout outs for where I bought them. So these are all going to get plinth'd up, and it was a fun little miniature, this one. We've then got the bust, which I did put up in a post to ask what people thought of colour schemes. Turns out it's from a computer game. I wasn't aware of that, so I'm deciding, am I going to go for proper colour scheme or wing it and do my own sort of thing. I'm not sure on that yet, but again, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a fantasy, which I don't tend to do. Cool little goblin. I saw this and just, it's the cheeky grin on him, and that's why I've got him. And it reminds me of Styx, which is a computer game, which is really a lot of fun. So that's why I went for him, and he's a little bit larger scale, so I can pick out some more of the details as well. Now this one, long-term viewers might remember. So this is the Butcher from Diablo. That's roughly what he's based on. I did a larger scale of this paint job, and it was a miniature I absolutely loved doing. So when I found this, I've got it in slightly smaller scale because I'm going to use it in a tabletop game. But yeah, we're going to repaint this and do something a bit different with it compared to the previous one. And then this is just some footage of those minis close up, so you can see them. I think they're going to be fun to paint. I want to try some new things with especially like with the goblin with the armour. This demon here, the butcher, I want to do something different to what I did in the previous video, especially with the skin. And same with this bust here. This one I'm still making my mind up if I'm going to go computer game accurate or not. But it looks like a lot of fun, and I've not done a proper human face for a long time, so it's going to be an interesting one, that. And then a cool little mushroom, because why not? I've already started working on this and modded it. I've removed one of the swords, and I'm going to add some extra little bits and things, and see how it goes. But that was it. That's having a look back at some of my favourite paint jobs. Not necessarily the best, but ones that I can learn a bit more from, and I've picked up things, and hopefully that's translated to people who've watched the videos as well. And then looking ahead, this is the sort of things we've got coming up. I've got other miniatures as well, and other things. I've got some more moonstone that I want to paint as well for the channel. A friend of mine bought the Goblin airship for my birthday recently, so I want to get that painted, and a few other little bits and bobs, and some reviews on tools and things that I've picked up recently. But yeah, thank you very much for indulging. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.